Hi there. So I'm just looking at some of the statuses that I've been posting on social media, specifically Telegram and MeWe and somewhat Instagram over the last few weeks. I'm just looking at some of those statuses and catching up with the information that I've been receiving from the Nine and sharing on social media, but haven't sort of come on and made a video. So I'm catching up on that information now and sharing that with everyone who doesn't follow me on social media. So there was one post here that I wrote in response to a question. We'll have to take this into the fictional story here. And that post is, so I'm just going to let my dog out. Come on then. See you later. Bye. He likes to sit in here with me. Okay. So the question is, so Magenta, in response to your post on meat eating, are you saying that people who are horrified at the, and in the story is a scary vampire with fangs, at the vampire where they all get together around a stone circle with hooded robes on, they're having a ritualization. Are you saying that people who are horrified at the scary vampire ritualization consuming of younger than adult humans are in some way hypocritical if they're eating meat from animals that have gone through the battery farming life? The person's asking me, am I suggesting that people who are horrified at the situation with the younger humans on this planet are hypocritical if they themselves are eating meat from animals that have been through the battery farming system? So my response to that is great question, really great question, and one I will leave up to the individual to ponder upon themselves. Lots of comments there, but I'm going to leave that for you to ponder on yourselves too, rather than discuss, because it's food for thought. Excuse the pun. Okay, let's go to the next one then. Where are we? Okay, so we're moving on to a completely different subject now. So here's another status that I wrote 2 or 3 weeks ago. There are many who call for unity at this point, who see division in the teachings and wisdoms of those who point out the bifurcation. Yet you live within a bifurcated reality that is set to intensify and then some. You cannot find unity by ignoring the bifurcation. You cannot find true unity if you are trying to embrace an old system alongside a new one through fear of losing the familiar and the connection with those who do not see the choice available or who feel they have no choice. Only when you acknowledge the extreme division upon your planet at this time and choose your side, if you will, make your choice by embracing one side of this binary polarity and rejecting the other through strong boundaries and alignment, not with fear or resistance. Only then will you create, find, experience, and know true unity. So what I am saying here is there are lots of people who will hear the teachings and wisdoms of those who point out the bifurcation. Myself, for example, I am always pointing out the bifurcation. So people will come back to me and say, you're teaching division. All of your comments are divisive. So I'm replying by saying, we live within a bifurcated reality. It's set to intensify. Our bifurcation, which is division, is set to intensify. That's in the timeline on an extremely high probability. And we're going into it now. So what I'm trying to say here is, when I talk about choose your side, spiritually, we are taught, and we move into the alignment of the knowing of rising above polarity, looking at polarity and seeing this path over here, the left, let's say, this path over here, the right, or rather than looking at political terms, or we could use color, the black, the white, or we could use the negative, the positive. Let's go with that, the negative and the positive. We see these opposing binary polarity presentations, and we remain within the middle, the central point, the 0 point, and we observe and rise above. That is all true. That's all correct. That's all accurate spiritual teaching. Now, if you live on a planet that is evolving and is moving forward in a natural, organic, free way, without infiltration and hijacking, then that's exactly what you would do as a soul. You would say, there's path of the negative, path of the positive, or path A or path B, path black and path white, red and blue, whatever you want to call it. And we rise above this. We don't allow ourselves to even move into this binary polarity. We don't want this dualism. We want unification. So we remain above this polarity and we hold unification. That is the way forward in any free, moving, healthy society. It's the correct and accurate spiritual teaching. I want to make that very, very clear. It's the correct and accurate spiritual teaching. But we don't live in a free flowing planetary society. We live in a hijacked society, and right now we are under attempted planetary what we do when we're in a car and we're overtaking that car, we're taking over. So within the novel, we're in an attempted planetary overtaking situation. That's what we're in right now. So we have a different way of navigating through. So what we need to do is identify with one of these polarized aspects. Because if this binary polarity was, let's for example say two teachers of information, two professors. We have Professor A and Professor B. In the true spiritual teaching of rising above polarity, Professor A would be teaching this thing, Professor B would be teaching that thing. They've both got completely opposing views. Professor A is a little bit right and a little bit wrong with what you're resonating with. Professor B is a little bit right and a little bit wrong, but neither of them have the answers. That's the polarity. We don't want to identify with it. We don't want to be part of that binary thinking. We rise above and find our own wisdom. That would be the true teaching. But what we actually have on this reality right now is something very different. We have a group of professors over here, let's say, Professor A group, and we have a group of professors over here, let's say Professor B group, and the polarity is very, very different. It's not a little bit of right and a little bit wrong over in A group and a little bit of right and a little bit of wrong over in B group. It's total polarity. And what that is looking like and what that is manifesting as and what is right now is A group is completely and utterly wrong and B group is right. Now, in the higher spiritual teaching, there is no right and wrong. So let's rephrase those words and use something else that is absolutely the case on this planet in the novel. Group A are coming from an agenda that is anti-life. They want to move into a position of control of everyone else on the planet. And so everything that they teach and they present is inverted. What they teach is the complete opposite of what is true. That's the group A of professors. The complete opposing binary polarity is a group of individuals who believe in life, in thriving, in beauty, in health, in having an open heart, in spirituality, in unity, and they want to move forward. And everything that they are presenting is true. It's in alignment with nature. That's the polarity we have. So we must react differently. We do not rise above the polarity and think, I'm not going to lend my energy to group A that are anti-life and want to take over the entire village. And I'm not going to lend myself to group B who are trying to do the complete opposite and save all the people in the village and deliver truth and health. Why would we do that? What we're going to do is identify with one of these polarized aspects. And if we're a service to others being, we're going to identify with the group that are for health and life and love and spirituality, and who are teaching what is true and presenting the complete opposite to the narrative coming from the ones that are presenting an agenda that is anti-life. That's the polarity we have right now on this planet in every area, whether it's media, politics, finance, social life, family. I mean, it's massive in the family because it's been engineered. So we identify with one of these aspects of this binary polarity, which is the one that's right and good and loving and service to others and positive. We identify, we choose our side, and the side we choose is the one that's right, the one that's truthful. Right and wrong is subjective, but truthful, the one that is organic. So we have a artificial intelligent group, if you will, and an organic group. That's the binary polarity. It's not a little bit of good and a little bit of bad over here and a little bit of good and a little bit of bad over here, and we rise above the binary thinking. That's true spirituality on a non-hijacked planet. It's true spirituality wherever you are. But we have to do something different when the hijacking is coming in as an attempt to take over the car in front of you on a planetary global level. We identify with the group that is wanting to save lives and thrive and go forward in freedom and sovereignty. That's the group we identify with. So that is you. When you do this, you are accepting this division, this bifurcation. You're understanding the polarity. You're choosing a side. Does that make you divisive? No. It makes you someone who's reacting to a hijacking. You are reacting to division that's been created by another group. You are standing as the antidote to it. If you rise above taking the middle path, you are neutral, which is the true spirituality, of course. So once you have identified with the aspect of polarity that you are resonating with and you choose your side, you remain there in a third dimensional play out. But as a multidimensional individual, you would rise above that and take the neutral viewpoint, the observer viewpoint, because you then move into the fifth dimension where there is no polarity. So you do both. So you can kind of see this, if you will, like a triangle. So you have this point here, which is the negative point of the triangle. You have this point here, which is the positive side of the triangle. And then you have the point at the top, which is the rising above of polarity entirely. And you would see the baseline of the triangle and you would choose the side, left or right. bad or good, satanic or godly, whichever way you want to put it. You would choose the part of the triangle that you're resonating with, which is truth and love and liberty and sovereignty. And then you would rise above and take the topmost point of the triangle. So you would see yourself as taking, or actually a prism or a triad would actually be a better way of explaining it, because it's more faceted. So you would choose over here, that would be your choice. So you're not making the choice here, because all of this is 3D, okay? So in 3D, you have to make choices. You choose the point. 5D and above is unification with the whole pyramid. So when you're there, there's no polarity here, because you become the whole. You become all of this. You become the entire structure. And I use a pyramid because in the service to self geometry, it's a pyramidical structure that they use, but they use it in a different way. They use it as you know, the topmost point controlling the larger base. I'm using the pyramid as an example in a different way, which is the third dimension. You are navigating through these binary polarity choices, and then in the fifth dimension you are unifying. So that is why my posts do not appear to some people to be unifying. Some people see my posts as being divisive, and they are divisive in the sense of that I am acknowledging the bifurcation. I'm acknowledging the division. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not pretending it doesn't exist and rising above it. I'm acknowledging that the polarity is extreme. One is the inversion of the truth. They couldn't be more opposing. And that is what is set to get more and more intensified. The bifurcation is intensifying over the coming future months as we go forward. So it's very important for us to understand this when we embrace this as a pyramidical structure in the way that I've described. We unify within ourselves. We're not rejecting anything. We are fully unified within ourselves, and we can unify with all in the fifth dimension and above. In the third dimension, it's not possible to unify with all, because a division has already been created, and those that are following the path of that inverted aspect are perpetuating that division because they feel that that's the right thing to do. And we only have to look at the Jezebel Juice program to actually see how that is playing out. So we can create a unification within the third dimensional reality with individuals who are of like vibration. They are those who remain organic, service to others, awake, aware, and do not buy into this false narrative. So that's what that status was all about. And if I just repeat that last piece again, then that'll give you sort of the clarity of what I'm talking about here. Only when you acknowledge the extreme division on your planet at this time and choose your side, if you will, make your choice by embracing one side of this binary polarity and rejecting the other. Now, you're not doing this through resistance. And I go on to say, through strong boundaries and alignment, not with fear, not with resistance. So if you're in this awake, aware path of light, and you're in resistance to the other, as in I hate you, you're horrible, you know, I stand against you, then yes, you've taken yourself into the full polarity. You can't get up to the topmost point of the pyramid. You do it without judgment. It's like, this is where I am. I love you all, no matter what you're doing, but I absolutely do not go along with what you're trying to do. It's a massive, big no from me. My boundaries are down. I've chosen my side. I still love you, And then you rise above into that topmost point of the pyramid. And that's where you find the unification. And that's what is meant by when I said, not through fear or resistance, only then will you create, find, experience, and know true unity. So it's a big one right now, that is. And that's why I popped that up as a status a couple of weeks ago. So thank you so much for listening. I'll be back again soon. Bye.